Hello, I'm Joan Manson of Manson Fine Art, pastel artist, and welcome to this demonstration called Barn Owls Coming to Roost. This is done with white charcoal pencils and white Pan Pastel on Canson black drawing paper. I combined these images to make a third composition. And this is the result. This photograph was taken by Steve Allen. I downloaded it from Wildlife Reference Photos. I flipped it eventually for the composition that I was creating. But first I did a graphite study to get a better feel for how the owl worked, the wings, the structure, the muscles, the feathers. I reversed the image, trying to decide which way I thought was better. Photoshop is very useful, although you can upload these to Word and flip the images there as well. Later I cropped the image to accommodate the composition that I wanted. This image was taken by Sandra Young. I also downloaded it from Wildlife Reference Photos. And I did a graphite study of this one as well. I used graphite pencil on vellum paper. I don't always do a graphite study, but sometimes if I want to get closer to the animal or the bird or the fish that I'm drawing, I will do a study. Then by the time I get to my final work, it's much easier, it flows more quickly. And that was my original composition. I thought would be horizontal. So here's the desaturated and reversed image of the flying owl. And then I added the desaturated image of the bird standing on the limb. And so there would be no distraction for me. I added gray to the entire background. Now this isn't meant to be a perfect photoshopped image. I just needed to have a good reference photo for me. And it was perfect. If you like my videos and you'd like to see more, please click on that subscribe button. I look forward to working with you again. But let's move on. I'm just filling in the background. I'm using a blueness blender. There are 4 in this box. They're for cosmetics. Most of the things I use with the Pan Pastels are for cosmetics. And this is going to be done in white Pan Pastel, touch of black for redarkening things. Not quite sure what I'm doing in the background, aside from adding some texture. Oops.
working on an 11 by 14 Canson black paper. It's a spiral pad. Everything is going to be black, white, and shades of gray. I'm using this sort of teardrop flat side. Let me turn this upside down so I can get the area above the bird. There we go. Finishing that up. It looks really sharp just having a totally black background, as you can see, and if we can get no glare or eliminate the glare in the photo I took and put on my phone. I laid them out and move back this way. I may erase away some of it to create the look of sky, or I may erase some of it to make the look of trees. I'm not quite sure, and that may not even happen until I'm all done with the owls. Doing blurry backgrounds is all the rave now. It's a lot of fun. It's a photo technique. And occasionally, when I take photos, I can do that. You focus so that the object closest to you that you're actually taking a picture of is in focus and the background is out of focus. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't. I have a Sony Short Shot. This is a wonderful camera. I am not a professional photographer. I know nothing about f-stops or filters. I can take a decent composition, and I have an eye for that. But then most people who study art, practice art, have an eye. You can learn it as well. I'm going to leave this alone for now. I'm putting this one away. Okay, I have my white Pan Pastel. And let's start with the wood. Oh, look at that. It looks like the moon sitting there, doesn't it? Turn this around. My favorite pastel tool, Sofft tool, is the oval, but I'm very hard on it, and I tend to wear away, even on a smooth paper, the sponge. Keep in mind that this is very thin sponge. This isn't like working on the larger pieces. Okay. So I like working with that one, and I like working with the round edge, and I enjoy it with the other one I completely destroy while I'm at it, is the baton. Let me give it a new top. I enjoy working with this one, which I can't get inserted into. It's made so that you can put in additional heads and change them out. Because again, this is just a very thin layer, probably not 1/8 of an inch. So it will wear. And let's see, what else would I like to use in this one? Trying to decide all the goodies I'm going to use besides those. I may use my triangular. Triangular one is really cool. That's what I'm going to use. It's wonderful for making diaphanous layers of the pastel. I also have this new one that I haven't used. It's from Echo Tools, and Echo is the one who makes the brushes that I use as well, and I'll probably use some of those. I don't know that I'm going to use this for this, but I wanted to share it with you. You can get this in the cosmetics department, in your drugstores or supermarkets. I got this at my Publix store. And not sure. That's Brewster barking. He's the chunky chihuahua. I'll leave that there for now. I have my Mono Zero eraser for bringing in black lines or gray lines, depending on what I've got there. If I need larger spots, I have my Statler retractable plastic eraser, which needs to be cleaned a little bit. Clean erasers by rubbing them on clean paper. Okay. And I have, if I need to do a long line, I have a pencil eraser. This is from Pan Pastel. Comes with a little brush. These used to be called typing erasers in the day when there were typewriters and carbon ribbon, and we would erase away on our onion skin paper. I am dating myself. Many of you have probably never heard of onion skin paper or typing erasers or carbon ribbon. But all those things were real, and I lived through them. Let me put these back in here. I wasn't going to use those. Oh, I'll show you this. This is also from my cosmetics collection. They're get probably 30 of them in a package for under $10, and they're also a triangular shape. They don't come to the fine point that this does, but they do have an interesting effect. And if you can't afford the soft tools, because the soft tools really are more money, hit the cosmetics department and look at the sponges and the applicators, the little teeny tiny eyeshadow casters. Soft Tools sells those as well. You can get a bag of 100 of them for a pittance. So anyway, these are the main things that I'm going to use for right now. I'm competing with Brewster for sound. I have my reference photo on the left. I'm going to be working first with the darling in the back. I'm laying in the white first. As you pull down the white, it turns to gray, and darker shades of gray. And this oval brush is fantastic. It all largely depends upon how you work with your pastels, and you can use these with soft pastels and charcoal, but they don't have to be used just with Pan Pastels. Working a little on the claw. Not too worried about covering it up a bit because I'm going to create the claws and the legs by erasing away. Until I get there, I don't actually know if I'm going to do this in fine detail or a truly impressionistic style of work. Oh, I also have pencil. This is a Gerald's Pastel Chalk Pencil. It's what I use to draw out my image. And I'll also be using my pastel pencils I have for making the whites. I have the Faber-Castell pastels, and I have the Caran d'Ache, and I have the Winsor Newton, but by far the strongest is the Chinese white from Caran d'Ache, and I've already worked it down to half its length, but it is among the very strongest. And I also have the Caran d'Ache black pastel pencil, which in effect you use for erasing. And if I feel I need to undo something to some greater extent, I have the Pan Pastel black. You know, if I was going to do this in a truly tutorial way, because it's not really a tutorial, a step-by-step, I would have had all of my materials sitting here ready to show you. But this isn't really a step-by-step. This is more of a demonstration. Whoops. I'm working from the bottom up, where it is the lightest on the feather. And I could probably turn this over and work it upside down, but hey, I can do this. So I have the leaves going, and I'm going to come up here. Oh, there. And I am going to have to come into the areas where the muscles meet and the feathers fold over one another so I can redefine some of the areas. One of the things about working with Pan Pastels in white on black is that if you wish to create, but you find you have issues such as arthritis, and you can't hold the instrument for as long as you would like to, it's a perfect medium. I do have arthritis. I can work on a project for days or months or whatever. This is very easy on my hands. You handle the tool, the Sofft tool, like a palette knife. I'll be darkening that area. over here. And this area will be darkened as well, but I'll redefine that in terms of the sky. And somewhere here I have lots and lots of sketches, but I also have a piece of blackboard. I'm going to bring these up. These are the feathers the wing feathers that are behind the owl in the forefront, and I'm just bringing it up with a lightly charged palette knife, soft tool. And again, I'm starting at the bottom because the bottom is where the wings are lightest. Make sure any streaks you can perceive are going in this direction. Okay. And the same as over here, in this direction. Okay. And let me smooth those down a bit. I don't want it to look quite so rough. Let me bring my eraser in right up here and just redefine this area as the top of the head of the owl in the forefront. There we go. Alright, now let's get back into working on the face. Well, I have it mapped out lightly. I'm going to be sure I can still see those pencil lines from the white pastel pencil. I've got to turn the sound off my phone. Okay, here we go. Highlight that a bit. When I tap it in here, it'll make it fuzzy looking, because this bird is in the distance and you can't see all the fine details of this bird. Now, this paper doesn't have a lot of tooth, so there comes a point where it won't hold anymore. I do some color work on this paper, but I prefer to do color work on black watercolor paper because it's got more tooth. My personal preference for doing anything, working on anything, is to work on smooth paper, but we really have to pay attention to the requirements of the medium. Alright. And what else do I want to do here? Let me bring this down with the piece for you. Let me push this down a little bit for you. Now I've done that side a little too dark, too light. So I'm going to come over here, use my eraser, and lightly bring up, not all, but some of the white pastel to darken this area. The outside edge of the beak. Okay. Get a sort of indication of feathers here. Okay. Reshape the face. Go. Just bringing that up a bit. Okay. Bring in my eraser. Now a darker mottled brown feathers on the back of the bird, which you don't get to see. But using the eraser, I can bring in Some finer detail. So we got a little bit finer detail there. Now these feathers that frame the face are curls, or appear to be curls. I'm just going to begin to darken it. I'm going to use the black pencil. Run over that outside line, darken the inside. I'm going to bring in the white pencil and put the gleam in the eye right here. Not quite that much, but okay, and a little dot over here. And bring in the black pencil again and reduce the size of that dot. Okay, that's good. While I'm here, I'm just going to create some feather edges, some fluffy edges. And make some more. Okay. We're going to bring in the eraser. We'll bring in these claws. These are like their landing gear. Okay, the landing gear is set. I'm going to bring in the black pencil. No, yeah. Just making those. Rather than bringing in the black Pan Pastel, I'm bringing in the pastel pencil and making small circles. pencil I was using. Here we go. Just want to make a hard edge first. Okay, now I'm going to bring in black, just a touch. And bring that shadow up. Do the same over here. Now it's not coming off solidly black because it's blending with the white that's underneath it. There it is, just have shade coming in the feathers. Alrighty. I'm finished with the black on this one. I'm going to bring the eraser up here. This is much too wide. Okay. And that cloud back up here. Okay. Very easy to correct mistakes with in this particular method, with this particular medium. Not happy with the centering over here, a little too gray. So not solid enough. Okay, I like that. And now I'm going to put away the black for now. And I'm going to bring it back up. Okay. You see that for the most part that owl is complete. There'll be some detailing that will happen later, but I'm going to be doing it in conjunction with detailing that I'll be doing in the forefront. Okay. And the next part that I'm going to be working on here will be this wood branch. It's a tree. It's been cut down. It has some beautiful gnarled branches. There's some detail in it. There we go. If I bring it up closer, you can see it better. Okay. Alright, now we're going to move on to put this over here. Hold me a little bit to keep it rectangle. Move on to the owl in the front. And what I'm going to start with is the foreground branches. And I'm going to use my round edge give you a closer look. A little hard to get a close up down there. There. To get a better idea of the wood. Okay, I do believe wood is done. Let me go in here with my eraser and redefine some of those cracks within the wood. Okay, very nice. Now, just want to lighten up this area here. And here, so it looks like we're looking at the sky. Okay. So now our next step is working on the owl in the forefront. The common barn owl is really a beautiful, beautiful bird. Why they call it common, I have no idea, but it is a beautiful creature. I don't know that I've ever actually seen one up close or personal or even at a distance, but they are beautiful. I'm just going to do a little erasing up here. I don't want to lose any of my areas. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm going to give that a shot.
I notice I'm working on the face and the features of the face and the body, that it really looks rough, and you have to wonder if I'm just going from bad to worse because the detail isn't there. But when you're working in what's an impressionistic style, the fine detail isn't the issue. The work is not intended to be viewed up close, inches from your nose. You're supposed to stand back, take a look, and say, yes, that is an owl. Yes, what a beautiful face. You're supposed to see the movement of the muscle underneath the surface. You're supposed to see a gleam in the eye. But it doesn't matter that you see the fine details of the feathers. You know that they're feathers. It doesn't matter that you don't see the individual quills. It's not important. What's important is the essence of the drawing of, the feeling of the work. Now, if we were working in a realistic style, I'd have the pencil in there and I'd be doing fine detail, and this would be a different work altogether. But that's not what I wanted, and it's not what I want. I do occasionally do something that's very realistic because I feel like it. But my favorite method is really working in what's called the Impressionist style. Another aspect of the Impressionist style is the use of light and a feeling of an emotion. They bring something to you. You see something, you feel something, even if it's only the dampness of the night or a sensation that you're outside in the moonlight. So I'm just using my soft tools to add color and fluff instead of fine details of feathers. And when it's done, it will be beautiful. I had a student the other night in a paint class who thought his work really was not a piece of great work, a piece of great art, but he said, I looked at the photograph and wow, how cool was that? And that's because I was showing them an impressionistic approach. And I kept telling them to stand up and stand back and see your work because it's not meant to be viewed up close and personal. The Impressionist work are meant to be viewed from a distance. Stand back 10 to 12 to 20 feet, and then you can see the detail. You can see what happens with the interaction of light and dark and color, contrasts and complementary. drawing the piece and I thought I was finished, but then I stepped back and I said, no, I need a better background. And I forgot to click the taping button on the camcorder. So I'm sorry you didn't get to watch this process. It really only took about 15 minutes, and I used the triangular sponge and the egg-shaped sponge to create the trees and the mountains and the clouds, and I think it came out beautifully. It's a nice moody piece, obviously an evening, and the black paper really helped in creating that mood for what I'm doing. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And if you do want to see more of my work, please click on that subscribe button or scroll around at the bottom right of the page. And when Renard's picture comes up, just click there. I look forward to working with you again.